Subscribe. MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2. Origin Continent. Volume 7. Nine Rivers Holy Realm. Chapter 299, On the Edge of Life and Death. 27th of Volume 7. Boom. The impact was overwhelming. Luo Feng evaded with all his strength, yet he was still brushed by the massive form of the Xuanhuan Wangti leader. Just a slight touch. Even so, an immense force surged through his entire body. Luo Feng's energy reserves were already 1,000 times that of a flawless divine body, and with the enhancement of the immortal heart, his defensive abilities soared dramatically. The secret treasure, immortal heart, merely amplified power and other attributes several times, similar to the high-grade semi-Xuanhuan level secret treasures. However, its true strength lay in its essence immortality. This treasure fused the mysteries of life and destruction, making its survival abilities unparalleled. Boom. The impact sent Luo Feng flying backwards instantly, yet his body remained intact without any injuries. The leader of the Xuanhuan Wangti, charging with unstoppable momentum, slightly turned its head, its gaze fixed on Luo Feng. The moment it saw that Luo Feng had endured its strike, a glimmer of excitement flickered in its eyes. Without hesitation, its hoof thundered down like a lightning bolt. The sheer force of the strike was terrifying, and at such close range, Luo Feng had no time to react before the hoof came crashing down. The claws of the leader of the Xuanhuan Wangti were too huge. In comparison, Luo Feng was shocked. Bang! Compared to the previous scratch, this strike was more than 10 times stronger. The immense impact sent shudders through Luo Feng's heart. His undying blood-sea body could no longer withstand such an overwhelming force. His physical form began to break apart. Under the crushing force, Luo Feng had only one choice: detonate his body, transforming into an endless sea of blood. Only by dispersing the force in this way could he hope to survive the devastating stomp. Even with the power of the immortal heart, I still can't withstand the trampling of the Xuanhuan Wangti leader. Although Luo Feng was shocked, it wasn't entirely unexpected. The Xuanhuan Wangti clan was named for its devastating trampling ability, its most fearsome attack. With a monstrous physique ranking among the strongest in its level, the Xuanhuan Wangti's stomp reached an incredible degree of destructive power. A late-stage God Emperor level Xuanhuan Wangti could unleash a force nearing the threshold of an enlightened perfection stage God Emperor. If it is a perfection God Emperor level Xuanhuan Wangti, its stomp would be even more terrifying, capable of completely shattering Luo Feng's undying blood-sea body, making it impossible to maintain his form. Given Luo Feng's strength, along with the immortal heart and the Palm realm, he should theoretically be able to ensure his safety against low-level Xuanhuan lifeforms at the perfection God Emperor level, even if he couldn't defeat them. But he is facing the leader of the Xuanhuan Wangti clan. How did it withstand my stomp? The leader of the Xuanhuan Wangti was slightly surprised. In Yulan City, only 3 palace masters could match it head-on. Ordinary elders wouldn't even dare to take it on directly, relying instead on secret techniques to escape. Meanwhile, Luo Feng's undying blood-sea body, enhanced by both the immortal heart and the Azure Heaven Destruction Formation diagram, had made his blood-sea incredibly resilient. With my vast energy reserves, losing 2% in a single stomp. Luo Feng was stunned. Woo! Even as he processed his shock, Luo Feng launched his counterattack. A furry claw suddenly shot out from the sea of blood, silent and swift. Before the leader of the Xuanhuan Wangti could react, the claw had already reached beneath its belly. Crack! Luo Feng unleashed his full understanding of life and death, executing the most devastating move of the innate treasure, Palm World. He didn't attempt world suppression; it would be useless against such a foe. Instead, he focused on sheer tearing and destruction. The claw, sharp as blades, was reinforced by the undying blood-sea body, further empowered by the intricate engravings on its surface. This was the strongest strike Luo Feng could muster, so powerful he believed it could even threaten semi-Xuanhuan level experts. It emerged too suddenly from the sea of blood, too fast to dodge. Or perhaps the Xuanhuan Wangti leader simply didn't think it needed to dodge. Rip! Luo Feng felt his 5 razor-sharp talons pierce into the leader's light-colored scales. According to records from the Nine Rivers Holy Realm, the scales of the Xuanhuan Wangti clan are generally covered with hundreds of layers. Yet, I barely pierced 2 layers. Luo Feng was in disbelief. He had put everything into that strike. And he only managed to break through 2 layers of scale. At this moment, Luo Feng finally grasped the true meaning behind the saying that among low-level Xuanhuan lifeforms, those naturally born as Xuanhuan beings, Xuanhuan Wangti leader's physical body can be considered among the most formidable. The leader of the Xuanhuan Wangti was slightly surprised after taking the claw strike. Though its outer scales developed a few cracks, the invisible currents of thunder energy surged through its body, swiftly repairing the damage. Roar! A deafening roar erupted from the leader, like thunder booming across the battlefield. The sheer force of its voice crashed outward in all directions, causing Luo Feng's endless sea of blood to tremble violently, even obliterating some of its surface layers. The shockwave directly attacked Luo Feng's mental willpower. However, after reaching the early stage God Emperor realm in the Tao of life and death, his mental fortitude had already risen to the perfection God Emperor level, though not yet at its peak. With such a powerful mind, along with the Lai Yuan technique, and his deep understanding of transcendent will technique, Luo Feng managed to endure the effects of the roar. I don't recall any technique named Bushi, so I have taken the liberty of naming it Transcendent Will Technique, based on its context. If you know about this technique, feel free to let me know. Bang! 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 The leader of the Xuanhuan Wangti charged forward, unleashing a relentless barrage of hoof strikes upon the sea of blood. Though each individual stomp wasn't as powerful as the initial charged impact, they still carried 50 to 60% of that force. The true danger, however, lay in the continuous, unrelenting barrage, a relentless storm of trampling destruction. Boom tilde tilde. The entire realm shook and cracked under the impact, revealing faint phantoms of the sealing patterns that bound the Nine Rivers Holy Realm. With the Xuanhuan Wangti leader rampaging through the battlefield, Luo Feng's endless sea of blood was rapidly depleting. In just a few breaths, he had already lost 30% of its energy. Sea of blood, heaven and earth. Suddenly, an overwhelming surge of power erupted from the sea of blood, enveloping the entire battlefield in a blood-colored haze. The surroundings became indistinguishable. Heaven and earth seemed to vanish into this blood-red void, transforming into the azure heaven. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader was now trapped inside the azure heaven, unable to perceive anything beyond it. Now's my chance escape. As soon as Luo Feng used part of the blood sea to evolve into the azure heaven, sealing off the Xuanhuan Wangti leader, he immediately split into 3 clones. Each clone activated a different secret technique, pushing their speed to the absolute limit, darting off in 3 different directions. HMPH. A sudden cold snort echoed through the void. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader's body expanded, growing enormous, almost half the size of the entire azure heaven. On its huge head, 2 curved horns sharp as blades gently swayed. Then, slash. With an indescribable force, the 2 curved horns sliced through the void, ripping apart everything in their path. Even the azure heaven, a realm of endless blood, was shattered under their terrifying might. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader pierced through the void with its gaze, instantly locking onto the 3 fleeing clones. Escape. Fury surged within the massive creature. Boom. In a flash, 3 devastating thunderbolts descended from the sky, each targeting one of Luo Feng's clones that had fled into the distance. Crack. The bolts struck with terrifying force. 2 of the clones were annihilated instantly, unable to withstand the onslaught. Only 1 clone managed to endure the impact, though its body trembled from the sheer force of the lightning. Whoosh. Without hesitation, the surviving clone summoned a flying vessel, leaping aboard and accelerating away at full speed. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader let out a deep growl, then opened its massive jaws. Boom. A surge of thunderous plasma erupted from its mouth, scorching everything in its path. The once vast sea of blood, which represented 1/10 of Luo Feng's energy reserves, was instantly annihilated. The heavens and earth trembled under the sheer force of this thunderous wrath, and nothing remained of the blood sea. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader narrowed its eyes, leaving behind a weaker clone. With that, Xuanhuan Wangti leader charged forward, swiftly pursuing the escaping flying vessel. Luo Feng piloted the vessel at maximum speed, racing away from the battlefield. However, the Xuanhuan Wangti leader was far too fast. He became a streak of lightning, cutting through the void as it relentlessly closed in. In less than 10 breaths of time, the monstrous beast caught up completely. I can't outrun it. Luo Feng stared ahead, realizing the inevitable. Die. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader raised its massive hoof, bringing it down with unimaginable force. It's over. Luo Feng, unable to escape, could only watch powerlessly as the devastating attack descended upon him. At the very site where their battle had begun, the chaotic energy of the shattered world gradually began to settle. The once violent turbulence of the battlefield calmed, and the flow of energy between heaven and earth returned to stability. Then, whoosh! From the endless energy of the universe, a new figure began to form. Slowly, a human silhouette emerged, solidifying into Luo Feng once more. With the power of his treasured artifact, the immortal heart, Luo Feng had entered a state between life and death. This treasure, which merged the essence of life and destruction, possessed an unparalleled life-preserving ability. As long as even a trace of his essence remained, the immortal heart could regenerate him from nothingness, allowing him to return to life once again. With the immortal heart, Luo Feng's body did not simply regenerate, it became one with nothingness. The moment he was struck down, the remnants of his blood sea dissolved into the cosmic void, merging seamlessly with the surrounding universe. For a short period, he existed in a state of neither life nor death, a concept he himself termed between life and death. However, this state was not without its flaws. While he could completely suppress his life force, making it nearly impossible to detect his presence, his mind and consciousness still existed. If the enemy is powerful enough, they could potentially sense his thoughts lingering in the void, rendering his deception useless. But for now, the immortal heart allowed Luo Feng to remain in this hidden state for 10 breaths, before reconstructing his physical form from the void. I finally fooled that Xuanhuan Wangti leader. Without wasting a second, Luo Feng summoned the Taishu Mingtong ship, a far superior vessel compared to the water droplet ship that one of his clones had been piloting earlier. Whoosh! The moment the Taishu Mingtong ship materialized, Luo Feng leapt inside and immediately activated its void-traveling capabilities. The ship vanished into a fissure in space, accelerating at a speed far surpassing anything the Wangti leader could hope to match. Tear. Meanwhile, back on the battlefield, a massive hoof claw descended, completely shattering the last of Luo Feng's clone. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader stared at the remaining water droplet-shaped flying boat, now drifting lifelessly in space. Narrowing its gaze, he slowly extended a massive hoof, pressing a card to scan the ship's interior. The interior of the flying boat was empty, without a single treasure. No remains of the Xuanhuan lifeforms they had previously hunted. Just an ordinary late-stage God Emperor's flying vessel and nothing more. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader realized at this moment. He escaped. The Xuanhuan Wangti leader let out a furious growl. These practitioners are too cunning. Despite possessing overwhelming raw power, it had encountered far too many tricky opponents like Luo Feng, those who, while unable to match it head-on, always found ways to slip away using mysterious escape techniques. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe. MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel.